Unqualified as Fuck is the ultimate podcast for anyone hustling to find happiness in this crazy world. Whether you're deep in a relationship, stuck in a situationship, heartbroken, or just feeling lost, we've got your back.
Join us as we share our own experiences and guide you on your journey of self-awareness and elevation.
We're committed to offering diverse perspectives because we understand that there's more than one way to get shit done.
By the way, we're with the shits.
So tap in, get lit,
and let's get to the bag. Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to a very anticipated next episode of the Unqualified as Fuck podcast. I am your host, Azar Faraday. This is my lovely, handsome co-host, Opulent Six, and my beautiful co-host, Jenny B. Thick.
Thank you.
We have been gone for a minute, so thank you guys for being patient. I know some of you hit us up like, what is going on? But life be lifing. So we appreciate you guys holding it down and just waiting for the next episode. But we're gonna keep them coming now. So stay tuned. Today we are gonna.
we also crossed our 20,000 follower mark.
Yes,
so we want to celebrate victories.
We do.
You're supposed to celebrate all victories, whether small or large. They are all impactful. So we crossed 20K organic followers, and that's about 20,000 people that interest who we piqued through our commentary, our opinions, whether they agreed or disagreed. But we want to say thank you because you could have followed a dog. But you gave us your follow.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We do.
Even though y'all be dragging us.
Y'all be dragging us, but
our comment section is worse than the shade room.
But you know what? This one right here be having the replies. I think one of your replies has like 3,000 likes.
Yeah.
Because he be like,
well,
he got it. He got it.
I fire back with the truth. The truth hurt worse than the joke. You get what I'm saying? So I don't really crack jokes, and I don't really go try to be acrimonious. I just tell you the truth, and the truth can never be disrespectful. It's the truth. So you could come on our page playing if you want. Like I had somebody like, you shouldn't be talking to your viewers like this. I'm like, you're not a viewer. You're an insignificant speck in my comment section.
Ooh, Jesus.
They never listen to any of our episodes.
Right.
If you think you're going to come in here and take shots, sometimes we'll let them fly, sometimes they won't.
All right.
But our life is really an open book. So if you have something to say, we'll allow you to say it. For the most part, we don't delete any comments, and we are open to you having a difference of opinion. We just not so open to you being disrespectful, disgruntled, and distasteful. Yeah. So you will
it
get
trips
dealt
me
with.
out.
It is
They're like,
what
I'm
it
too
is.
ugly to have an opinion, too fat. How about I get you Weight Watchers? Like, that is hilarious.
Honestly,
people have opinions.
Let it be. Let it be. We ain't even gonna give the haters that
but
ammunition.
y'all don't know what we talking about. Just go into our comment section
You'll
and
see it.
on some of our most popular videos, and you'll see it. But again, if you come at us mean and nasty, most of the time we won't say anything, but sometimes I'm going to fire back and give you the truth about yourself.
All right. Well, let's get into what our topic is about today. We are going to talk about what it looks like for a man to protect a woman, or, what it means to us, as far as Jen and I guess with Six, how he feels like he needs to protect a woman, and the importance of it. Okay. Because I feel like we look to men for protection, but I think a lot of the times men think that protection is just, I'm, big buff, I can kill somebody for you, or I can fight somebody for you. But in my opinion, protection runs a lot deeper than that, because I value a man who can protect my emotional feelings. It's really important because as a woman, we were brought into this world to breed children. So our body naturally has hormonal fluctuations. So every week we're on a different cycle and we're different. And I know a lot of men can, attest to, wow, 1 week she feels this way, the next week she might feel this way, but that's because of our hormones. That's because we were meant to breed children. And I think that it's very, very important that a man can protect my emotional state. And it's my job solely, to self-regulate and to protect myself emotionally. But I also want to be with a man who understands how important it is to protect me when it comes to my emotions. I value that I put that in a higher regard than I value a man that can protect me physically.
Well, have you ever been in a relationship where you did not feel protected emotionally? And give a couple examples to walk our male listeners through, because they might not even know what that looks like. What I mean? Like, what does that look like when you're not being protected? Because they might be guilty of doing it and want to change that, and a woman might not even be able to articulate it. But if you can give some examples, they can say, wow, I need to make sure I'm doing this, or I need to stop doing this. So if y'all could just start it off by just giving some examples of what women are looking for, or what are the signs of, like, look, you've dropped the ball on protecting me.
Yeah.
In some form or fashion.
I think that number one, when you're with a man, when you have the ability to feel safe, to be vulnerable, to express your emotions, that is huge, because I've dealt with men where I didn't feel emotionally safe, so I wasn't able to be vulnerable. And I didn't want to come to a man with, any of my issues, or even express myself emotionally. I know a lot of women who deal with a man and they're afraid to say how they feel about him or how something made them feel, because they feel like the man will react in a way that will not appease to their emotional state, I guess. So for instance, I've been in relationships where I may feel some type of way about something, and I'm afraid to address it. And I'm afraid to address it because in the past, a man may have flipped it on me or responded in a very defensive manner, didn't really take into account what I was trying to say. And then what that leads to is built up resentment, because we won't express it anymore and we'll just carry it. And eventually the relationship is going to erode. That's just what happens.
So, but like, flip the script, like what? Like, based on, like, give an example.
So men flip the script by turning it on you, like, you're so dramatic, you're so emotional. Why do you, why are you like this? I can't even do one thing without you tripping, And as a woman, you hate feeling like that because you feel so exposed. You feel like, oh, I feel stupid now. I feel embarrassed. I don't feel comfortable being vulnerable because you just made me feel like my feelings weren't valid and that my feelings aren't important,
But see, that's vague. And I'm trying to, I can't wait for Jen. I was just going to say, I can't wait for Jen to chime in, because I hear what you're saying, but even as emotionally intelligent as I would like to believe I am, what you're saying still is kind of vague, and it leaves room, because there's a thin line in between, oh, I'm not being protected emotionally, and hey, man, homegirl, you don't have regulation over your own emotions.
That's a fact.
It's a thin line between,
I agree.
Like, it's not my job to have agency over your emotions. And
agree.
Hey, you just really dropped the ball on that. It's a thin line. So we need to get inside of that thin line and thread the needle, because again, your example was vague. I can understand it, like, yeah, if you brought up, like, hey, the girl hugged you too long, and you like, oh, you always tripping. But are you always tripping?
But even in the instance of just not,
people do use over-exaggerated words like always. But
but even in the instance of, we're not going to get into, like, we know when someone's being petty or everything is triggering you because of your own past trauma. I'm talking about, things like even bringing up some of the things that are my triggers from my past, or talking about my family growing up. I've been in relationships where I don't feel comfortable telling them, like, my most vulnerable moments in my life, because people can use that against you. I don't feel comfortable telling them I grew up this way and my mom did this or this happened to me, because again, I don't feel protected by you emotionally. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to receive that. And
well, that sounds like something you need to go to therapy for. You get what I'm saying? Let me say this, because it is not the world's job to tiptoe around your triggers.
I agree with you, but what
you have to know. Let me say, it's not
Yeah.
It is not the world's job to tiptoe
I agree
around
with
your
you.
triggers.
I agree with you.
You have to figure out what your own triggers are and set boundaries and checkpoints in place to make sure that you not tripping off of stuff you should be stepping over. And if you do trip, you can't put it on your partner, your mate, your best friend, or your cousin because they triggered you.
But I'm not even talking about tripping. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that I'm conveying it correctly, because I do agree that it's our job to emotionally regulate. It's our job to figure out what our triggers and boundaries are. It's not anyone else's responsibility, period. I don't believe that it is, and I don't even operate like that. And you guys know me, that's not my vibe. But what I'm saying is you want to feel like you can come to your partner and feel free to express yourself.
What would make you feel like that? Let's start there.
Okay.
What can a man
that.
do to make you feel like you can come to him and express your deepest triggers?
It's all about his emotional maturity, and it's also about it's patterns, right? So you talk to a man about something one time, and if his reaction is a certain way, like dismissive, doesn't really care, or then throws it in your face later, you start to build this uncomfortableness with expressing yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Jen, let's you chime in.
I was like, as we were talking, like knew we were going to talk about this topic, I was kind of like struggling with that, because I don't know that I operate that way, because I am very like self-reflective and like look in the mirror at myself a lot.
Yeah.
So it's harder to be like, oh, well, what can like my partner do? But I guess that like he would have to just be, I could see that sense of like emotional maturity where it's like, but I also would kind of take that back to like, well, would you date somebody that wouldn't let you, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, I don't know that. And I don't know. This topic's hard for me, because it wasn't until like this guy I was dating months ago, like kind of did something that made me look at him completely different than I ever have in like the 19 years that I just knew him as a person. And so like some things had transpired, and I realized that like he did not have my best interest at heart. And that kind of just put a nail in the coffin.
So that's when whenever
Wasn't protected.
transpired there, you realized you were unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as a woman feeling unprotected.
But see, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to expand upon.
It's
So
hard.
men can understand, because you saying it and it's being vague, and every woman listening like, no, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You getting it and your man not getting it, or a man not getting it, ain't gonna do you no good.
Right.
We have to convey it.
Yeah.
So men is like, oh,
Okay.
I shouldn't do that, or
okay, well, you
or I
know the
should
story.
do this.
So you know what story I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll obviously keep it clean, but this person, like the guy I was dating, was in a room with someone else that told him some things about me. And in that room, he did not have my back.
Defend you.
He did not defend me. He did not say like, hey man, that's my girl, you probably shouldn't be telling me, or hey man, like.
Well, that's a great example of being
that's the first time.
Unprotected. So without going too far into details, there was some things said about Jen in front of someone that should have been like, hey, watch your mouth. Or at least came back and said, hey, Jen, this person probably ain't your friend because they saying this.
Right.
And they did not. They let it happen a few times and used it.
That's the worst part.
Used it against Jen later. Like, hey, nah, because I heard this.
Yep. Months later.
Yeah. So basically, because everybody like, what?
Yeah.
Somebody that she was dealing with should have protected her image, her reputation, and name.
For sure. That's number one.
And he did not protect her image, reputation, and name.
Right.
From someone who was in her friend circle. Right. Instead of saying, hey, babe, boo, lil mama, that ain't your homie. He allowed it, opened the door for it, and then used it against his own boo, babe, friend, homie.
And that's foul.
And that, in my opinion, that is a big, so I don't want to be all over the place. Fellas, one of the ways you protect your woman is, again, protecting her name, image, and reputation behind her back.
Mm-hmm.
If you with a woman and she finds out something distasteful was placed on her name, image, or reputation, and you did not stand up for her, or you did not tell her about it, she's gonna feel betrayed. She's gonna feel, you might as well be the person that said it or did it too.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she's gonna feel betrayed by
sure.
you, cause she's like, wait, me and you are locked in.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that's supposed to be my voice in that room. You supposed to shield me.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I really wanted to talk about this is because I feel like we talk a lot about valuing men who financially support us and not enough about men who emotionally support us. And I think that men who listen to our feelings, who want to protect our hearts, and who want to protect our peace are top tier to me. And I think as a woman, when you have been in a situation where you were dealing with a man who you thought was going to protect you, who you thought had your best interest at heart, and they do something to betray that,
Mm-hmm.
it really breaks you. And it hurts you in a way where you start to guard yourself. And I think that men often will say like, damn, like you're this, you're guarded, or you have this wall up. And women build that wall when we don't feel protected. We build that wall when we don't feel emotionally secure and safe with men. And later on, we start to become a little more hard to be vulnerable. It's hard because I shared everything with you. I disclosed everything about myself. I shared the things that, hurt me in the past. I shared the things that make me feel, unsafe. And you turned around and used that same thing against me. And it hurt me and it broke me. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and those are the things that make women close off and get super defensive. And I even watched myself as I've been hurt in the past. And I haven't been perfect, but as I've been like unprotected by men in the past, I watched myself get a little, guarded. And it's like an onion. You got to peel the layers back. But I try not to project on other people and give someone a good chance every time. But I learned with me, I start people at 100% when I need to be starting people at 30% and let them build up. I start people at 100% and let them build down. And the reason why I don't want to start them at zero is because I ain't even fucking with nobody who's at a 0%. You're going to at least be at 30 to even be in my...
I start everybody at zero.
I was like, I'm
starting everybody at zero.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I'm going to start people at 30, but I'm going to never start them
How
at
old
100.
are you?
32.
That's why you start them at 30. Keep going, baby. You gonna
My
start
grandmother is the one who said to start
at
people
zero.
at 30.
How old is your grandma right now?
She's dead. She was...
How old was she when she told you that?
Old.
90-something years old? That's all right. Then you might want to take her word, not mine.
But,
She
might know something
She
we
might
don't
know something more
Yeah,
than me at
she
90,
said-
but I'm starting everybody right from where they at. And right now you at zero.
I don't know.
You don't got nothing against you. You
Yeah.
don't got nothing on your you don't have nothing on your record either way. Nothing positive, nothing negative. You at a zero. You gonna have to prove to me that you can protect my name, reputation, and both privately and publicly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just be like, oh, you'll do this, because I don't trust you. I've learned to allow people to show you who they are, and then once people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I had good therapy last week. Well, this week. And one of the things that I realized from that is that like a lot of this is like kind of what Six was alluding to, which I think it's in parts, right? Like a lot of this is like self work, internal work, right? Because as much as that situation like hurt me, I wasn't like, it took me a second to like, for it to like click, but I realized that my way of looking at it was less damaging. Like I allowed myself to be hurt, like that hurt me, but I'm not going to let that control me. Like what he did to me is not going to trickle down into my future relationships because that's one person, that's an isolated incident, and that was about him. That doesn't mean that I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
But it also means that like I'm not gonna just be like, oh well, now I gotta protect myself against men because men do this. Like I try not to categorize and say like because he did this, he's gonna.
Can I say this? Because I've been on both sides of the coin. So now, the type of man I am now, and I'm a supreme protector on all fronts. I protect my woman spiritually first, physically, emotionally, financially, like
Sexually.
Sexually protected. And she's well, I don't know what that means.
I'll explain sexually.
I think I know
when
where that's
you're married,
going.
I don't know what that means. Like, what,
well, when you're
the
married, you know, not everyone is still like people have. I don't know what people's deal is when they're married.
Oh, okay. I was talking from
your
personal. That's what I'm like,
personal.
sexually. Like, I don't know what that means being married, but unmarried, yeah, you protect sexually. But either way, it's all inclusive with me. With me, I take care of a woman fully. Her, not just her pockets, not just her heart, not just her mind, but her pockets, her heart, her mind, her health, her spirit, her future, her own self from her own thoughts. It's all inclusive when you with me. But it wasn't always like that. And here's why. And this is important because I want ladies to understand this too. Here's where women go wrong at. For the most part, when something happens bad or wrong, you sit, you want to come talk about it, you want to bring it up. But you do not have that same joy, enthusiasm, and glee and want to talk about it when we do shit that's right.
I see that. I can see that.
And it's fucking nerve-wracking. Like, we do something wrong, you like, damn, hey, why did you do this? Like, Jesus, blah, 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 blah. How about he walked through the door and you be like, God damn it, I love the fact you always pay the mortgage. Woo! Hey, man, sit down, God damn it. You've been making me happy 5 days straight.
No,
you know
you're
what,
right.
God damn it? You've been putting it on my ass every night this week. I love y'all. Don't say nothing about every day we doing good shit. Every day we can go 10 days of all this, and it's like, hey, yeah, that's cool. But if something go left, now it's like we need to talk. Why don't you fucking call a meeting to say, hey, love what you've been doing, babes. This shit is awesome. Okay?
Because they didn't pick somebody that's doing that. That's why.
If all we get is a pat on the back, hey, yeah, good job.
The big piece of chicken.
Good job. Hey, thank you. But when it's something bad, it's a sit-down meeting. Every time it's a sit-down meeting, we get anxiety. Don't nothing good come from a sit-down meeting with wait, let me finish with y'all. When the last time with joy and enthusiasm are the same type of passion when you have a problem? Why you don't use that type of passion to promote what he did that's good? Y'all never really do.
I agree.
So when y'all approach us like that, we know it's on. So that's why it could be dismissive, because it's like it's got to be something bad.
I can honestly say that in one of my past relationships, I learned this because, like, I really feel for men in a lot of ways because I think that for women, we have a big,
right?
We can have a victim mentality a lot, and we can have this notion that the man is always wrong. You're always doing something, and we don't take accountability often. I don't know a lot of women that take accountability, that say sorry, that are actually aware of their actions and what they're putting out into the relationship. And I think that with men, they don't have a safe space to be able to talk about things. You know, they don't usually have how we can call our friends. You guys don't have that. You know, I can call Jen, I can call whoever, I can call you, Jen, this person, my sister, and I can talk for hours about the same situation for days on days on days. Men do not have that same ability, and they have to harbor a lot of things. That's why in a relationship, it's really important as women that we also give our man accolades when he's doing things right. Because in one of my past relationships, I remember always just coming down on him when things were wrong. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. But when he was doing things right, I'm like, that's what you should be doing. But that is not the case. You have to, it's just like a kid. When you're a kid, I was running him low. And when you're a child, you need someone that's going to tell you you're doing a great job. You need that reassurance. If every minute you're telling your child you're doing it wrong, they're going to cry, they're going to retreat.
Well, pause. That's just people.
And that's why I'm using a kid.
From your boss, it's just something negative every time.
Yeah, I know.
So you got to email a meeting. You're gonna be like, what is it now?
You're gonna have
it's the
a
same
reaction.
Thing.
And I think men are capitalized on every relationship. It's more and more and more. Like their patience is thin the more and more they date, because it's like
because
all
the
women
better the man you are, the more mundane and the more
desensitized.
Yeah, because it's normal. So the better the man you are, you rarely start hearing fucking doing an awesome job. You fucking killing it because you're such a good man. It's normal.
And you know, I'm gonna keep
normal.
it real.
There's nothing fancy about fucking flying around the world. We always fly around the world. There's nothing fucking good about having 15 cars and shopping spree. You always do. So it becomes less and less. But if there's something go left, now it's like, now I want to sit down and let's talk. And that's why a guy could be like, I don't really want to hear it. Or
Dismissive.
be indifferent
Yeah.
to it, because it's like, I never hear nothing else. And again, he can't come talk to his homeboys. Can't come talk to me,
like,
really.
my wife does it.
I'm gonna
Like,
be
my
like-
wife does it. My wife does that too.
Like, bro, that's just what it is.
Yeah,
so
it's
he
almost
holds
like
it in. He
when
can't
it's
talk to her about it.
Because and I noticed that men will have things that they'll just harbor because they don't want to talk to you about it because they know you're going to flip, cry, get dramatic, flip it on them, you know, and I've realized that with men too. So I feel like men carry so much more weight on them.
Say the sentence again. What y'all gonna do? Flip it, cry, get dramatic. What's all the sentence?
Flip it, cry, get dramatic, right?
Bring up the past.
Bring up the past, throw shit in their face. And I think that...
Shut down.
Yeah, shut down. Get into a victim mentality. And I think that men don't want to bring it up because they rather not deal with that, you know? And we're just going to end up flipping it on them. If a man wants to come to you with something, it's just as important as if we want to come to a man with something. And I think men don't get that same opportunity to be heard the way that we do. And it's all in our reaction, ladies. So if your man comes to you and he wants to express himself, be open to understanding what he's trying to say. That's how you build a real relationship with a man. And I had to learn this the hard way because I went through a relationship where I was putting a man down about, you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And I saw it break him down. And that's not what we want. You want to build your man up. So now when I date or when I deal with a man, I'm very much giving him the same reassurance that I require. I'm telling him how good he looks. I'm telling him how, ooh, baby, I love when you lead like that. Ooh, baby, I love when you pick.
Boom. And that's the key.
And
Hold on, let me say that because that's key. Ladies, you have to learn how to feed his manhood and not feed his ego. You feed a man's ego, he's going to use, abuse, and leave you. You feed his manhood, he's going to grow into a protector, a provider, and a provisioner. Learn how to feed your man's manhood.
And let me say this. Women, it's always, okay, so women always will say, look who he cheated on me with, right? And the woman doesn't look like you. She's not as attractive. Her body isn't as nice or whatever the case may be. But it's not about how she looks. It's how she's making him feel. And we are not making him feel good. You know, if you're coming home and every day you're like, you didn't do this, you didn't pay the bills, you didn't clean up after yourself, your shoes on the ground. The man is going to go to the woman who's telling him, you're a king, baby. You make me feel good. I love the way you lead. I love the way you look. I love the way you smell. Because we're emasculating that man. So he's going to go where he can feel manly. And that's why sometimes the woman don't look like you, but guess what? She's making him feel like a king. And that's why he's going over there with her.
I can hear the disgruntled women now.
Oh, they're mad.
Well,
you know why?
This advice is for them because if you do this, then you can feel protected because he will come and respect your feelings.
I feel like women have one job to do that they don't do well.
Which is what?
Who they choose to be with.
No, I'm going to need you to say that again. Hold on. Whoa, for the people in the back.
Say it again.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Women, I feel like the one thing that women should do, they don't do well.
Which is?
Choose who they want to be with. Because they'll always, like, I see it in the comments. I see it when I read, because I read comments with, popcorn. And I'm always hearing their rebuttal being like, they always want to say that they want us to, protect them or be a piece, but they're not the piece. They always want to say, like, I hear women's rebuttal always kind of like you said, they're not playing catch. They're hitting the ball. They're trying to push it back. They're playing tennis or whatever that means. They're
passing the buck.
Passing the buck right back. And I feel like the reason why women have such a hard time with all of these things that we're trying to kind of suggesting, like be at peace, chill out, shut up, like the things that men want is because they're not picking somebody they're willing to do that for. And to me, like what I am learning as I get older is like, I say that's so funny because I'm like older. But I have to be willing to walk off a ledge right behind you. If I'm not willing to jump, like, why am I with you if I'm not willing to jump? If I'm not willing to let you lead, if I'm not willing to not question your leadership, if I can't be like, okay, babe, and if he's like, hey, like something's going on, I need your opinion, or hey, can you take care of this for me? And it's not okay, If you can't just say okay, if you can't trust his leadership, I don't understand.
Then you picked the wrong man to begin with.
100%.
And
100%.
women's femininity and the way they feel soft and protected is all about the respect level they have for the man.
Mhm.
If I respect you as a man, the way that I react to you, the way my body reacts, the way my mind reacts is completely different than a man that I don't respect. It is. I'm looking at you like, okay, baby, whatever you say.
I
like,
see that in our comments
yeah.
a lot, right? With men, and I never have advice for that because they like women are so hard or so masculine. And I'm like, I'm sure they're out there because I hear it over and over again. I just can't relate. I've never been with a woman that was masculine and had masculine demeanor, or I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Because
this is a strong opinion. Women have emasculated the men that they want to be masculine. Like shot themselves in the foot. It's their fault. You wanted them to be soft and emotional and be like you. But and then when you try to get out there and date them and they're not, I think we've ruined
y'all
men.
Saying the same thing though. Like if you get with a man that automatically softens that part.
Oh, that
because
part, yeah.
I've never met a masculine woman, really.
You're very masculine, Six. And like, as a friend, I'm saying it because I know, but like women, you can't be with someone, you would be, within seconds, you wouldn't talk to a woman who ever even like butt up against you. Like, right. I can't even see you moving.
I wouldn't, there wouldn't even be a Freudian draw. There wouldn't even be a draw to that. And any woman I've ever been, even around as friends. Like, and you're a strong-minded woman, very strong-minded. Azar's strong-minded. My wife is strong-minded and strong-spirited. But I be feeling bad for these dudes and be wanting to say, maybe it's you, sir. Because
your reality of the feminine version of women that you get is based on who you are. It's not based on the women. Women...
Wait, how so?
Because his version of who he's going to get out of you and me is different from another man's version of who he's going to get out of a woman.
Okay.
Because he is a certain type of man that's going to bring out a certain type of softness in a woman. Not every man is going to bring out that softness in a woman. I have been with a man who bring out, I have been with a man, not only is it that they're soft, right? I've been with men who did not have strong leadership. I could not look at you and say, wow, I trust you, I respect you, I want to follow your lead. That's on me, because why am I with a man like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to adjust who I'm choosing. Mm-hmm. But I will say, when you are with that type of man versus a man you respect, versus a man who can lead you, versus a man who can protect you in all aspects of your life, you are going to naturally submit to that man. You are going to naturally become feminine and soft to that man. And that is just a fact, because you are not even allowed to be masculine in the presence of a real man. Your body doesn't even allow it. It's going to reject that, because a man who is masculine is going to automatically put you in that soft space. It just is what it is. And I've experienced, because I'm a strong woman. I'm not like, we know I'm more of a strong type of woman, and I have masculine ways, kind of. I mean, I know you guys say I'm really feminine and soft, and I am, but even as feminine and soft as I am, I have been very masculine in relationship. Guess why? Because I have to make the decisions. Mm-hmm. I have to think all the time for myself. Mm-hmm. When I'm able to let my guard down, when I'm able to not have to think about every single decision I make, because I'm with my man and I can just let him guide me and let him lead me because I trust him, I am in my divine femininity. Mm-hmm. I am in I'm the best version of myself when I'm with that type of man. But the same thing is true for not being with that type of man.
Let me say this, because one time Jen was talking to me and she was dealing with somebody, and she was like, the person asked her how to be a leader. Mm-hmm. Like, what does it mean to be a leader? Which I thought was
interesting.
Interesting. I thought it was very candid and honest, because at your age, you probably should know how to be a leader, because you're going to be pair bonding with women. And it just showed the vulnerability, because this person obviously did not know how to be a leader. So I want to tell men who don't know how to be a leader right now what it means to be a leader. First of all, you have to start through your actions, behaviors, and patterns. That's what they're going to watch and take inventory of. if you want your woman to do something, you do it first and show her. She'll watch you enough times execute that thing and naturally want to get on one accord with you. You cannot be undisciplined in your behavior and your personality, emotions, or finances and try to take agency over her discipline, character, finances, and life. Because then you're going to look like a hypocrite. And not only will she not look at you like a leader, but she won't even respect that.
Been there.
So first,
Me too.
You have to lead through your actions and through your discipline. Then you have to become a high volume executor. You have to execute your plan, young man. You can't keep coming up with a bunch of plans, even if it's a plan for your own fitness. You can't restart every 6 months and then talk to her about fitness or anything because she's like, you don't even finish what you start. So you have to be a high volume execute, and allow her to help. A lot of times us men, we want to go and do it on our own. And I get it. I used to be the same way. But if you have a partner, you're supposed to allow her to help you make the plan better. Not make the plan for you, not do it for you. Get in there, you start doing it, and she'll come in and sprinkle her magic on that shit. Once you do that enough times, you've now built up a resume, something she can go off of where she can give you the benefit of the doubt, give you her trust, give you her mind, body, heart, and spirit and say, here you go. You get what I'm saying? But just being vocal, hey, you should do this. Hey, we should do that. Hey, that's not being a leader. That's being bossy and being a nuisance.
There's a difference between being a leader and just being a man who's trying to control your life.
Right. So you have to execute as a leader. You have to come up with a plan as a leader. You have to be proactive. As a leader, you have to be proactive. Well, me and my wife, our come up was crazy. We talk about it all the time because it was like, damn, we actually did it. We actually executed our come up. I sent her a text message the other day of what our kitchen used to look like, our first apartment, because I knew she forgot. But I kept all these photos. Now keep in mind, we about to be 18 years. So this is 18 years ago. But I knew I was gonna live life like this. And I kept pictures and look at the picture of our kid, what our kitchen used to look like.
That is crazy.
You see, you know what our kid here, catch that. What our kitchen look like now. You see, and I sent her that. I said, remember what our kitchen used to look like? But it was
you guys
ours.
The yellow tile.
Like,
the yellow tile
is we'll add it.
We'll add it. But this was our kitchen now. Is I built the house from scratch. It's crazy. But the point is, I remember when we lived there, true story, short story. We lived there. It was all we could afford. It was our first apartment together. We're struggling. And I remember one morning, she was getting ready for work. And I was like laying right here and in the hallway, right out of the bedroom where I could see, there's a hallway closet and her work stuff was there. And I was asleep that morning and she went to the hallway closet to get her work stuff and a goddamn mouse ran across. And I remember she jumped and was like, the fuck? And was like, I hate this house. But she said it under her breath. And that woke me up out of my sleep. As a man, she went to work, couldn't go back to sleep. And I was like, look how the fuck we living. And you just saw that kitchen. I was like, look how it hurt me. It hurt me. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm finna do whatever it take, but we gonna get out of here. And I told my wife, like, hey, when she came home, look, I'm working on a plan for us. I'm gonna get us out of here. A year later, because it took a while, we moved to a bigger spot. Matter of fact, I said, come just pick the place. She didn't have to say, hey, what about the plan? You said this, you said that. We moved to a bigger place. Of course, it costs more. And she's like, yo, this costs more than what we paying now. Don't worry about it, baby. Don't worry about it. If you like the place, we gonna get it. I had the story from the end, but watch this. When we moved in, so we filled out the application, and I think they didn't call us back and say we was approved probably to like, let's say the 10th. But you know what happens on every first? Your rent is due.
So you already paid where you were?
I had already paid rent where I was. We didn't have no money like that. And they was like, you do. And I was like, we can move in next month. And they was like, nah, if y'all don't want the place. And I was like, well, can you give us 2 weeks? And she was like, no, I have to move to the next applicant. And I told my wife, and I was like, I'm gonna call you back. And she was like, damn, why they wait so long? I was like, I don't know. And I called the lady back and I said, this is a true story. I said, can you give me 3 days? She said, 3 days? She was like, yeah. Because back then you needed the first, last, and security. They wanted a guacamole.
You still need that.
She
That's
said,
actually 2024 is outlawed now.
yeah.
You can't do it anymore.
What do
I think
they
it's
need
just
now?
first
It's
and
just
last.
first. I
Or
think
first
it's
and security.
yeah. It can't be
Yeah,
double
you need
the
the
rent.
first. So back then, so I was like,
Wow.
told, I said, can you give me 3 days to the lady? I'll never forget it. Sweet lady. She said, yeah. And I just wanted to, you saw that place. I wanted to move my wife out of that place. Let me tell you, y'all. In 3 days, I went and had that lady the money. My wife was so happy. When I dropped off the cashier's check, I did not know where I was going to go because I didn't have no money or no gas in my car. I did whatever it took to get us out of that place into a bigger place because I told her I would. I didn't even have literally, I was sitting in the car like, I hope I at least make it down the street. I had 0 gas.
Wow.
Now watch this. 30 days after moving in there, they came and repoed my car from that building because instead of paying my car note, I made sure she had a place that didn't have rodents, had 2 bathrooms and everything. I had nothing, but I had everything because I had her trust. And I told her when we got there, every 3 years, we're going to move up and up and up and up and up. And think about how long you've been knowing me. How many times have I moved since you've been knowing me? And then when I was building my house, this fool knew without me even having to tell her.
I did.
She just was like, she flew back from New York, and there was boxes everywhere, you know, because we just was having the
They
baby
moved.
shower.
Yeah, they moved.
And she's like, yeah, so what y'all picking out tile? And I'm like, how does she know? But
My intuition.
I told her we moved about 4 times,
2 to
5
3
times since
every
we've
2
been
to 3
together. Every
years.
2-3 years. I
Yeah.
told her, look, we're going to move and move up and up and up and up. But I had a plan, and my wife saw that plan. So it's easy for her to be soft. It's easy for her to be trust. But guys, the moral of the story is I had to suffer. I had to put myself last. That was my first luxury car. That was a Jaguar. That wasn't just no Honda. I love that Jaguar. They repoed it. I was 2 months behind, but I had a choice. Keep the Jaguar, look fly, ride around, or get my boo to a better place. Me and y'all have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice.
You know what? I always ask men when I'm dating them, if you were to lead me, are you standing in the back if we're walking, or are you standing in the front of me? And I like to see what their answer is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if their answer is I'm standing in the front because I'm leading and you're following me, that's the wrong answer. You need to be behind me so you can see everything.
And nothing can get to me from
And
behind me.
Nothing can get to me. So men, it's a difference. A man who knows to be behind you versus a man that knows to be in front of you, those are 2 different type of men. And you got to be careful because you don't want to choose the man that walks in front.
Yeah, I always walk behind my wife anyway because she sucked the air out the room when she come in. Everybody be looking at her, and I just like to drag behind a little bit and see everybody's faces. And they be like, wow. But guys, y'all have to be selfless. That's a part of leadership. Going into the question, the catalyst of this whole story, what leadership is selflessness. You have to do it. You have to suffer first. You have to. I remember when I first started telling my wife we first start saving money. Babe, we got to start saving money. And I just was putting money in the account. I would just do it. And I go, oh, babe, I saved $200. Oh, okay. Hey, babe, I saved another $50. All right. Babe, I saved $100. All right. And then one day she was like, oh, I put $2,000 in there. $2,000? Because guess what? You can't outdo a woman. Just let her see you doing it. Babe, we're going to fix our credit. And I fixed her credit. I'm on record. You can ask. I fixed her credit before I fixed mine.
Beautiful.
But now this is the thing. Women, back to what Jen said, it's important that you're choosing the right man. Because a man who doesn't truly want you is not going to sacrifice and become the man that you need to have in your life.
This is true.
The only type of man that's going to sacrifice for you, that's going to really put you before himself, is a man who really wants to be with you.
And let me say this, it'll come natural.
So
I have to say this. I'm sorry. I have to because I had good women before M. M is an extraordinary woman. But I had good women. She's extraordinary. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have never done that for them good women. Because it just didn't come natural for me to do that for them.
So a key to know if you're with the right man is if he's not naturally deciding to take the lead, sacrifice, put you before him, make sure that you're good, then that man don't really want you.
Then he won't. Yeah, he won't. Don't think it's you, because again, that's why I have to say that they were good women. I just never wanted to do that for them.
It's not that you're not a good woman.
So make sure the man want to do it for you. We gotta want to. We have to. The right man, when he is yours, he will just want to do it. Mm-hmm. He will want to do it.
It's not that you're not a good woman. It's that you're not the right woman
for him. He will want it. So if he don't want to do it, you wasting your time. Because two women can date the same man and not have never dated the same man. Because another woman be like, I dated 6, he never did none of that. He's never, well, who is that guy?
Yeah.
I wasn't that guy for you because I just didn't like you in that way. So you have to make sure a man likes you in that way. And if he don't, that's fine. But you have to move on and let somebody step in that does like you in that way instead of wasting years and tears with a man that don't like you in that way. Because there's men that will commit immediately. That's men that will swoop in and be your savior immediately. And then there's men that just will waste your time and you'll be a placeholder for right now because you're a good time off a couple of dimes.
Yeah.
You'll be a good time in a few dimes.
Yeah. No.
You know what
if
I'm saying?
A man doesn't see your
you
value,
be long term and straight like a perm.
If a man doesn't see your value, you'll feel it as a woman. And I think that you never regret messing with any man. I don't regret ever messing with a man. I regret staying with men far past the expiration date because now you're just wasting your time, your energy, and your investment. Learn to move on when you know it's time to move on. Learn to move on when your gut tells you this man is not moving in the way that he should move for a woman that he truly wants. And we know it, okay? We can be in relationships for years, and as a woman, we saw the red flags. We felt it in our spirit, but guess what we fell in love with? We idolized his potential. We fell in love with the fantasy that's in our mind instead of the man that he truly is. And that potential and that fantasy probably 9 times out of 10 will never come true. So fall in love with someone for who they are today and understand who they are. And if that person is not aligned with you, then please keep it pushing and stop wasting your time.
My homegirl, I was telling a friend of mine about this guy that I'm dating. And I was just like, oh yeah, he did it. He does this and that. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, that's so dope. She's like, so like, did you tell him to do it? Like he's listening to you? And I was like, I didn't tell him to do anything. She literally was like, oh. And that made me think about something. Like, kind of like what you guys are saying. It's like, I didn't tell him to do anything. I didn't say like, hey, this is the way you got to treat me. This is the way, if you want me to feel love from you, you need to A, B, C, D, E.
When we want you.
Never told him to do a thing. We
will do it automatically. That's the point I was trying to drive
exactly.
I accidentally interrupted the czar. We will, because I really want y'all ladies to understand.
Right.
It is in us.
Yeah.
Buried deep for some of us, and some of us right there on the surface. But it is in us. And if you are the one, it's going to come rushing out of us. If it doesn't come rushing out of us, then you're not the one that will erect that greatness in us. And all we're going to do is waste your time and waste your years.
Stop wasting your years, ladies.
That's why I say the biggest, the most important thing a woman can do is pick. Because I feel like you can see that pretty early on what the guy is. You can talk to a guy within 10 seconds and be like,
Right, but I don't think women know. That's why I had to say it. I think men, we do have it in us and we are willing. I think sometimes they go, because I bet the women that dated me in my previous years was like, yeah, he just ain't that person. Mm-hmm. Well, not for you. But look at the way, you got to be careful with the way you even talk to him. When my wife talked to me, even if she got to correct me on something, she talked to me like a king because she's speaking to the king in me.
Exactly.
And you talk to him crazy, you talking to somebody, you speaking to something else in him. You speaking to the crazy person in him. When you want to talk to your man, even if it's something that's disgruntled or uncomfortable, speak to the king in him and the king will reply. If you come at him crazy, then the crazy will reply. Speak to the king in him and it will
y'all
the king will
think,
speak back.
Amen.
Y'all gonna think I'm crazy.
What?
But what? Y'all gonna think I'm crazy because I actually have done this. lately, and this might not work for everybody, but lately I have been just like trying to like manifest what I want out of a man, if that makes sense. Like, I don't necessarily go to him and say, but I tell the universe what I want, and I swear within days he'll do it.
There you go. Higher your frequency. And
like, y'all really hearing what I just said?
Yeah. I mean, I live by that law. You got to hire your frequency.
It ain't new for us.
Yeah.
She's like, did y'all hear?
But I'm just saying, like, I realize, I think the deeper thing that I'm trying to say is that I realize that, like, everything that's output in my life is an internal alignment first.
Exactly. Yeah. Sis, listen, higher your frequency and one or two things will happen. The people around you will higher their frequency and become the version of themselves that you want, or they'll get out the way. And on that note, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We love y'all. Tune into the next episode because we will be back on schedule. And thank you for the support. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, guys, that is it. We have ran out of time. But if you like what you heard or disagree with what you heard today, please let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the UAF Podcast, and also like and subscribe to our YouTube, the UAF Podcast. Again, we always read your comments and we always respect your perspective. Thank you for tuning in. This is the UAF crew, and as always, we are not sorry.